Okay, Bruchim Abba, welcome everyone. Shalom Aleichem. We're continuing our series of Friday Shiurim. Today is the day after Shavuos, Isru Chag Shavuos, which last night we spoke about how it is the most important Isru Chag of all the Isru Chags, because on this day is dedicated to bring the Karbanos of Shavuos if Shavuos came out on Shabbos. Our first offering today, we're going to do Davar Yafeh B'itai, connecting the Parsha to the Zman of the year. Now, here we have Davar Yafeh B'itai, Parshas Naso. We encounter a remarkable phenomenon. If you look in the Medrash Rabbah on Parshas Naso, it is the longest midrashim of the entire Torah. There is more medrash on Naso than any other parsha. Moreover, there is more zohar on this parsha than anywhere else. And we could add, there's also more parsha than any other parsha. It's the biggest parsha of the year. And don't say, well, it's the biggest parsha of the year. That's obviously why there's more medrash or more zohar, because the truth is, the end of the parsha is totally repetitive. It's the last 89 psukim are repetitive. So why do you think the parsha that has the most medrash and the most zohar and the most commentary is this week's parsha? Why do you think this week's parsha is the longest parsha of the whole year? So the Chidush Aron brings in the Sefer Hazachus, it's brought in the Pri Tzadik of Reb Tzadok HaKohen, that it's because it's the parsha right after Kabbalas HaTorah. And every year on Yom Tov of Shavuos, Hashem gives us the Torah anew. Our calendar is a living calendar. And therefore the influence and the hashpah and the spiritual light that comes down on Shavuos is reenacted, and we relive it every Shavuos. And therefore Hashem, so to speak, re-gives us the Torah. So we have an extra bounty, an extra influence of Torah in the immediate aftermath of the Yom Tov of Shavuos. Therefore, we have the most medrash. Therefore, we have the most zohar. And I would humbly add, therefore, we have the biggest parsha. So, the most Torah in the aftermath of Kabbalas HaTorah. Okay, now Rashi famously says, it's a Gemara in Brachos, why does the Torah juxtapose Parshas Nazir to the Parsha of the Soita? To teach that anyone who sees the Koita, the Soita, in her degradation, should refrain from Yayin. Should refrain from Yayin. Okay, we're all familiar with that. If somebody sees the degraded state of the Soita, they should refrain from wine, Yazer Atzmai Min Yayin. But I like to say that this is particularly relevant in the aftermath of Matan Torah. Because we know that Matan Torah was analogous to a marriage. It was a chuppah, that we married God, the chuppah b'kiddushin. The only thing is that at our Hashana, we were mezaneh. We say, aluva kala shezimsa tachas chupasa. Shameful is the kala that is mezaneh under her chuppah. Now, so Rabbi Say, at our Hashana, we were mezaneh. And not only that, we were like a soita, because after the chet of the chet ha'egel, Moshe Rabbeinu gave us to drink, and Rashi says, niskavein lebadkam kesoita. Moshe Rabbeinu had kavana to check us like a soita. So you know who the soita is? The Jewish people. How are we a soita? In the aftermath of Kabbalas HaTorah, we became a soita. And you know what we lost at Kabbalas HaTorah? We lost crowns. We lost the crowns. God gave us crowns at Har Sinai. We lost them. When we said Naso v'Nishma, God gave us crowns. And we lost the crowns. We also lost the status of being Mamleches Kohanim, where the Torah says, V'atem tiyu li Mamleches Kohanim. The Balaturim even says that if we would have been Zoicha, we would have all reached the Madrega of Kohanim Gedolim. So therefore God says, someone who sees the Soita in her degradation, that perhaps we could say is a remiss to the Jewish people. You know what they need to do? Yazer atzmim in hayayim. They should refrain from drinking wine. They should refrain from the pleasures of this world. Because by refraining from the pleasures of this world, you could get your crowns back. The word nazir, that Ibn Ezra says, is a lashon of nezer, crown. Why? Like it says ki nezer eloikav al roishai. So that shows that the word nazir is rooted in the word crown. And there's a logic to it, says Ibn Ezra. Most people are slaves. They're not kings, they're slaves. Who are they slaves to? They're slaves to their taiva. The true king, the true individual who has a crown on his head, who wears a nezer, who wears an ateres, is someone who is freed from the shackles of his taiva. Therefore, by being Yazer Atzmim and Hayayin, we could regain the crown of being a melech. Furthermore, by separating from the desires of this world, you could even reach the madrega of a Kohen Gadol. Like the Alshich says, that somebody who separates from the pleasures of this world, in a way is greater than a Kohen Gadol. Because a Kohen Gadol, he's, so to speak, he's born into it, but this person chose to reach that madrega. And just like a Kohen Gadol cannot be matame to his close relatives, so too a Nazir. So friends, I like to think of it, here it is, we just celebrated a Yom Tov of Shavuos, and in a sense, we come out of the Yom Tov and it's demoralizing, because all the great gifts of Kabbalas HaTorah, we blew it, we lost it. We lost the crown of Har Sinai. We lost the status of being Kohanim. So therefore the Chazal say, someone who sees the Soita in her degradation, we were the Soita. We were guilty of infidelity. We were unfaithful to God. What should we do to regain our lost status? Yazer atzmai min hayayin. Furthermore, you know, when Klal Yisrael accepted the Torah, we were restored to the madrega of Adam Arishan before the Chet. And we lost that when we served the Egel. But the Shlach Kadosh says that a Nazir is, so to speak, elevated to the status of Adam Arishan before the Chet. So all the lost treasures and goodies that we could have had at Kabbalas HaTorah and we lost, we're able to regain it through the Parsha of the Soita. So maybe what Chazal mean when they say Mishara Haraya Soita B'Kokula, it's referring to recognizing our lost status in the aftermath of Kabbalas HaTorah. Now, I want to share with you an idea, and I'm going to elaborate it on this idea in another session. This idea, as well as the next idea, I'm going to mention just for the sake of completion, and we're going to have a separate clip on it. We all know there's a beautiful idea that the whole Torah are the names of God. That the primordial Torah was black fire on white fire, and it spelled out contiguously various names of God. That's why the source of Birchas HaTorah is Kishem Hashem Ekra Havu Goydel Elokeinu. So, somebody shared with me yesterday on Shavuos, Rav David Cohen of Coney Island Avenue, Gvol Yavitz. He brings in a sefer Masnas Kapi that, did you ever notice when you say Birchas HaTorah in the morning, so we say Psukim right after Birchas HaTorah, which Psukim do we say? We say Birchas Koyanim. Wow, Birchas Koyanim. Why do we say Birchas Koyanim? We say Birchas Koyanim because we need to say Psukim. But why, of all Psukim, do we say these Psukim? So Rav David Cohen says like this. When we say Birchas HaTorah, there's an emphasis on the fact that the Torah are the names of God. We even say, V'niya anachnu b'tze'atzainu, kulanu yoidei shemecha. We should all be among those who know your name. Because the Torah are the names of God. Friends, yesterday on Shavuos, God gave us the Torah. And by giving us the Torah, He gave us His name. Of all the Torah, do you know what is considered His name more than any other portion of the Torah? You know what's really considered the name of God? Birchas Kohanim. Because after Birchas Kohanim it says, V'samu es shemi al b'nei Yisrael va'ani avarchem. I will place my name on the Jewish people. That indicates that Birchas Kohanim is the name of Hashem. So since we're thanking Hashem for the Torah, and we're enunciating that the Torah is the name of God, we dafka say Birchas Kohanim, says of David Kohen, because Birchas Kohanim is more the name of God than any other portion of the Torah. I'm going to elaborate that in a separate clip. Another interesting thing, I want to give a new name to the Shabbos. Do you remember the name that we said the Shabbos before Shavuos is referred to? We said the Shabbos before Shavuos is Shabbos Kala, because we were about to get married. Friends, Joe, what do you call the Shabbos after you get married? Yeah, but what about us? What about us Ashkenazim? Shabbos brachas, yeah?
Sure, well, but that's not just Shabbos during the week too.
But the Shabbos of the Sheva brachas, it's called, who's making Shabbos Sheva brachas, right? So, first thing is, if we got married this week, don't we need to have Sheva brachas? I mean, we need to go out to a kosher Chinese restaurant and, have Sheva brachas. But shouldn't the Shabbos be Shabbos Sheva brachas? So amazingly, and many people sent this to me over the last 24 hours. Reb Chaim Falaji says that indeed, here's the question: what are our Sheva brachas? We just got married. What are the Sheva brachas? Sheva brachas, says Reb Chaim Falaji, there is no doubt the Sheva brachas after Kabbalas HaTorah is Birchas Kohanim. Yivarechecha Hashem v'yishmerecha. Yo'er Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka. Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom. So you say, what's number 7? What's bracha achrita? Bracha achrita is v'samu eshemi al b'nei Yisrael va'ani avarachem. That's the Sheva brachas. You think it's a coincidence that Sheva brachas of Birchas Kohanim is given right after Shavuos? No. It's Davar, Yafeh be'itai. It is appropriately read on the Yom Tov of Shavuos, and I'm going to elaborate on that in a separate clip. Another interesting idea that the Sefer Sifsei Tzaddik speaks about at length is that in Parshas Naso we are given the mitzvah of tshuva. V'hisvadu es chatasam asher asu. And you could ask, what is the connection between the mitzvah of tshuva and this time of the year? What's the connection between tshuva and the aftermath of Kabbalas HaTorah? So the Sefer Sifsei Tzaddik explains this in a number of dimensions. He bases it on what we began with from the Shiurim, that we appropriately lay Naso, the Parsha that has the most medrash and zayar and most psukim, in the aftermath of Kabbalas HaTorah. And he suggests that's why we have the mitzvah of tshuva and vidui in this Parsha. And he quotes the Zohar HaKadosh, that before God created the world, God consulted with the Torah. And the Torah said, well, sometimes people will sin, and the world can't exist. So, says God, you think for nothing I'm called patient? That means through the Torah, Torah innovated the concept of tshuva. The Torah wants to save Klal Yisrael from the abyss. That even though tshuva existed before the Torah was given, because Cain said to Adam Arishon, Asisi tshuva and v'nis pasharti, I made a compromise. But in order to do tshuva and not to ever return to the stumbling block again, you need the koyach HaTorah. So, firstly, the Torah is the one that gives the advice of tshuva. Secondly, the Torah is what gives us the strength to do tshuva and to fight the Yetzer, like the Gemara in Kedushin says, Barasi Yetzahar, Barasi Torah Tavlin. And therefore, appropriately, now that God gave us the Torah, we immediately in the first parsha read about the mitzvah of tshuva as the Torah is the entity that advises tshuva and gives us the koyach to be able to do tshuva. Furthermore, the Sefer Sifsei Tzadik says that the reason why tshuva is found in this parsha that the Torah is what alerts the heart to recognize its fault and infraction and correct itself. So therefore, again, in the aftermath of Torah, it's what prompts us to do tshuva. Like we say, Hashivenu avinu l'sayrasecha, and then Hachazirenu b'shuva shleima lefanecha. The Torah is what inspires us to do tshuva. The Torah is what alerts us and helps us be perceptive that we need to do tshuva. So again, this is all example of Davar Yafeh B'itay, of how the topics we read in this week's Parsha are appropriate to the Zman of the year, namely in the aftermath of the Yom Tov of Shavuos. So that is offering number 1.